Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Carlos Aguilar. I'm a film critic in Los Angeles, and it's my pleasure to be here today with the director of the Summit of the Gods, Patrick Imbert. Thank you, Patrick, for being here.
Thanks to you.
So let's start from the sort of the material that inspired this film, the manga. Tell us, how did you discover it? How did you come up across this material? And when it was assigned to you, or when you decided that you wanted to make it into a film. Was that sort of a difficult decision, or did you immediately saw this as an animated film?
I would not say that I have discovered it because it is everything began with a producer, a passionate producer, and he wanted to adapt this, and he proposed this to me. And actually, he didn't propose me to direct the movie first, but he just came to me and asked me for very first drawings, some character design at the very beginning of the process. And at that time, I was working on another movie called The Big Bad Fox, and I had a few days off. So I have worked on these drawings, and apparently they like it because they involved me more and more into the process. And I discovered the manga at this time because it's necessary to know what you are working on, right? And I loved it, definitely. And it's a good reason, let's say, to adapt something if you like the story.
And now you talk about the character design. You work in films like The Big Bad Fox and April and the Extraordinary World, other sort of more stylized, films. And I wonder if you wanted this one to be sort of more realistic, or perhaps the style not to be so blunt or strong on screen.
Well, when you work in animation, especially in Europe, the style is always changing according to the movie style, and you have to be able to do everything. That is the job. So I did, for many years, I did a lot of different styles. But for this movie, I was happy to do something closer to me. It is much more my sensibility. And I put myself into the drawings. I mean, I didn't exactly copy the Taniguchi style, but I thought that it's realistic. So let's go further in the realism, and that's why I did this.
And this is a film about mountaineering, climbing, and I wonder how much you knew about this sport beforehand, and what was the research like?
I knew absolutely nothing except mountain is high and cold, but that's all. And I do hiking a little bit, so I know how it is to feel the nature all around, but that's all. And I had to do a lot of research, and fortunately, internet is full of images of movie of whatever you want to find about mountain. And so it was a long job to gather a lot of information. And also we had some consultants, because once you have all this information, you don't know what to do exactly with this. So one of the consultants was a summiter. That means he reaches the summit of Everest, and so he talked about his experience. And another consultant came to the studio with all his material, with all the equipment, the ropes and everything, and he showed us how to do the technical gestures. And so we took some pictures, and that was really helpful to do the animation, to do the drawings.
I also love the backgrounds in the film. They look like very painterly and sort of, but at the same time keeping the realism of these locations that the real places that you're putting on the screen. So I wonder what you were looking for when you were creating these backgrounds.
These backgrounds and generally the whole shot is thought in terms of the impression of realism. So we work based on photography, because it's a real place most of times, and you cannot do anything, so you have to be precise. But this is not the goal. This is just a step to go further into the feeling of that you are really in the mountain, and that's why we try to reach something very cinematographic. And our main influence was not animation influence. We were looking more at live action movies. For example, I loved Inarritu's Revenant and the work of Emanuel Lubezki, director of photography. And this is what we wanted to catch, this feeling of the reality. But this is a feeling because you have to I mean, it's a fake reality. It just gives the impression of it.
Tell me a little bit about the structure of the film, because I think it's very interesting, and I wonder how that came together doing the animatic, because you're dealing with two narratives, two different characters on their own journeys in the past and the present, and I think that structure really works for the film.
The structure is built on two different paths that that meet at one time, and when you do a film, a drama, you need a narrative arc. This is necessary, and the arc of the photographer is that he, at the very beginning, he thinks that he will find a scoop and who reached the summit of Everest the first, and finally at the end he will have the answer, but his experience all along the movie will make him thinking that it's not important. The most important is just to go and to do what you want to do, but not this kind of question that who reached the summit. And the structure of Abu's way is more like, well, you see, this guy is really passionate about climbing, and he do this since he's a young boy. But in this sport, there is a lot of competition, a lot of frustration. Little by little, Habu will concentrate on what is essential for him, which is only climbing for himself, and that's all. And also the film is built on a progression that follows the height of the mountain, and there is a progression also of the location. In the first part, we are in the civilization, the cities, and little by little we go in the nature, in the mountain, and the last part is only the mountain. And there is also a progression on the dialogue that turns to silence. And at the end, at the second part, this is the time where the mountain can speak with the sound design. So it's all question of progression.
Amazing. Can you talk a little bit about the specificity of the technology, which I think is, it could be sort of easily lost on people, with just the details of the Walkman and the VHS and sort of like these details that places, visually in the time period.
Well, I like the details, and that helps to give some unconscious information about the period. Well, this is conscious, but you can drop some very little details everywhere, and also that's fun. I like to do this because this is my I lived this period, so I had a Walkman too, and I had all this stuff, and I like to put some of these things, some of these details.
Amazing. The music is also fantastic in this film, and you talked a little bit about how that's sort of the voice of the mountain, and I wonder if you could go deeper into what you wanted to achieve in these scenes.
Well, yes, the music is really important in the movie, and from the beginning of the project, I had the feeling that the music should go on both legs. The one is let's say the Hollywood style side, which goes with the emotion. It has to be sad on a sad scene or whatever. But on the other leg, I wanted to give something very personal and very particular to the mountain scenes. And I wanted that once we are in the mountains, we feel that it is somewhere that we have never been, and this is weird. So, and the difficult thing is that there is no rule that says this is weird or this is something personal to the mountain. And so the composer had to search a lot, and he did many versions of the mountain scenes. And also he helps me a lot to drive the meaning of the scenes, because he always asks me what you want to do, what you want to tell with this or these scenes. And most of the times I knew, of course, but it appears that sometimes I did not know, not exactly. And together we found a more precise meaning. And I mean, it's a very important part of the narrative.
I wonder if visually, was there any one particular sequence in the mountains that was the most difficult to animate? There's a few that are, you know, very powerful and tense, with a lot of deadly sort of moments.
That's funny, because a lot of people ask me this about the mountain scene. Is it difficult or whatever? But you know, it was not that difficult. I mean, it's difficult because it's 2D animation and you have to do all the drawings. So in itself, it is a tough job. But I think the most difficult part was the dialogue scenes, because of the meaning of these scenes, and because you have to treat it well in order to create empathy with the character. Because if you don't create empathy, at the end, in the mountain scenes, when the accident comes, when the storm is coming, and when the problems are coming, if you didn't build the empathy, nothing will happen. You see what I mean? So it was very important, and in my point of view, it was maybe the most difficult scenes to do, not the mountain ones.
Now that you mentioned that the film is in 2D and hand-drawn, I wonder, do you find something specifically, beautiful or unique about, the handcraft of it as opposed to, going all digital?
Well, it is digital. It is definitely digital. We do all the drawings one by one, but on the computer with the tablet. The only thing is that the method is the same as the good old method since the beginning of animation. But at the very beginning of the process, we thought that it could be done in 3D, in CG, because of all the details and the drawings are really precise. So it's very difficult to draw this. But it appears that the CG is very expensive, and also it's a very long and technical process. It's very heavy. And we didn't have the money for this, and also I don't like this kind of process, which is too heavy. And in 2D, I can more express myself, and I also can make some good choice about the making in itself, you see, because it is my job since many years now. So I would say that doing 2D was kind of natural for me.
Yeah, I also think that, the fact that this is a sports drama done in animation kind of shows the range of the medium that could be used for any type of story. And I wonder if you feel that changed the perception that animation is only for children. Are we stepping away from that sort of erroneous perception?
Yes, I think things are changing little by little, but the animation is very expensive to do. So so you need to have a success. Otherwise, you cannot do another movie. And that is part of the problem. But especially in 2D, as it is more flexible and it's more handcraft stuff, we can do a cheaper movie, even if it's difficult. So we are able to do these adult things. And I think that more and more it is possible to do this. And all the people in animation, all the artists, they love to do this. And they are very happy when they have the chance to work on such project. And in France, in Europe, we have this project, and but I hope that how can I say, today with all the different platforms, the things are changing, and I think, but I am not sure, but I think it's gonna be better and better. I hope.
Because last I wanted to ask you, after making this film, did you have any curiosity or interest in doing mountain climbing?
Well, not really. I mean, not that high, because it's crazy.
Well, I'm glad that we get to experience it through your film.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you so much.